to see everybody here. I want to especially say I appreciate Nancy. Nancy being here and with everything that's going on in her life right now. Means that her faith is in God, not in other things. I want to share with you the mic before services started. I guess he was behind me as he was walking up the aisle. And he looked at when I turned around and saw him, I said something, he looked at me and says, keep it short. Keep it short. And I thought something was going on that I wanted. I said, why? He said, because I'm hungry. I'm starving. Now, how many of you remember Larry Inslee, who has filled in for me a couple times? Larry told me when I was preaching at not South Point, but at Chesapeake. One day I said something to him about having to go home and get a sermon. I saw him at the church on a Friday, and I had Saturday to put my sermon together, which I had done all my life. And he looked at me and said, well, preach a short one. Now, I'm telling you exactly what I did. Job had a friend called, his name was a Shulite. His nationality was a Shulite. So I preached on his friend, Job's friend. I preached a sermon on Peter, James, and John in that particular sermon. Because during the time when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane, they slept on a watch. And I hope you're getting all of this stuff. They slept on a watch, which was Jesus would sit here and pray. They slept on a watch. And then I finished my sermon by preaching a sermon on Zacchaeus. He was a wee little man. So my sermon was a short sermon that day. But Mike also put me in mind of when I was preaching in South Point. Our piano player by the name was Judy at that particular time. Judy Lester. Her brother-in-law, he ran the State Farm Agency in Chesapeake. And Judy was a character. And I'm not talking about this Judy. She's a sweetheart. But Judy was a character. And as I got up to preach that particular Sunday morning, we were still in the basement. I remember that real well. She looked at me and she called me over. And I wondered what was going on. And when I got to the piano, she looked at me and says, keep it short, I'm having a big Mac attack. So I really, Mike brought all these to my mind this morning. And I just really enjoy the fun and fellowship that we can have together. Sometimes it's just nothing in a little bit of humor play. And other times it's seriousness where we actually cry together. And by the way, that's how during the past several months especially, I've been with Nancy and her family and in my prayers and my thinking and actually reliving what my family went through 8 years ago when my wife got real sick. Draw near to God. We sing hymns that draw me nearer, Lord, nearer my God to thee, and so forth. This past week, I don't know what was going on, but I came down with a headache. My headache was pretty bad. I took some pretty strong medication to try to get rid of it. In fact, my kids really suffered for it because a lot of times I didn't even feel like cooking supper for them. We ordered in. They enjoy ordering in more than do my own cooking. I'm not going to even go there. But there's a passage of scripture in the book of Psalms that I like. Psalm 73. The 28th verse says, "But it is good for me to draw near to God. I have put my trust in the Lord God, that I may declare all thy works." You know, whenever I'm down, whenever things get difficult, whenever there's times where I'm in a situation where things just seem to be lousy. You know what I'm talking about. You've been there many times. That I feel that I need to draw near to God. Just for a moment, to think of the number of times where the Bible exhorts us to draw near to Him. I've listed a few scriptures here. Psalm 16:8. I have set the Lord always before me, because He's at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Think of that just for a moment. We stand firm upon what God has told us through His Word. Psalms 34:18. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. How true it is. When things seem to be the worst in our life, that's when God seems to be the nearest for us. Acts 17 has been Paul's sermon to the Athenians about the unknown God. Talking about the unknown God, it says that they should seek the Lord if happen they might feel after Him and find Him, though He be not far from any one of us. God is not that far, and I appreciated Ken Ham in his message this morning, talking about is there a God, and how we need to come to the idea that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and that is the idea that is in the whole Bible, His creative power, and so forth. Hebrews, the 7th chapter, the 9th verse. For the law made nothing perfect, but the bringing of a better hope did, by which we draw nigh unto God, or near unto God. Hebrews 10:22. Let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience, and our bodies washed with pure water. As you think of these ideas, drawing near to God, I think here that none of us are really as close to God as we should be. And I have written down, I have come across some ideas that I want to express to you as far as the benefits of drawing near to God at all times. When things are going good, we need to draw near to God. When things are not looking so good, and things become difficult along the way, we need to draw near to God. By drawing near to God, we draw away from ourselves. I think one of the problems in our world today, and in particular in our nation, is the basic idea that we have become self-motivated. We think of the terms of, I'm going to church, what's in it for me? And we realize that the idea is we want everything. I talked to a person not too long ago that was real upset because he felt he should be able to go on to Medicaid, I'm sorry. And he was refused because his income was too great. And he said, I worked all my life and I expect that I deserve that Medicaid. We think of ourselves. But it should be what I draw near to God for what I can do for God, for His church, for His people. We need to draw near to God that we might be able to express in our lives His love towards others, God's love towards others. We need to express His concern, His sacrifice. in giving Jesus Christ as the Savior of the world. I watch politics, and maybe I should apologize for some of the things I say about politics. But I am so upset with these elections. Rather than working together as Republicans and Democrats and independents or whatever it may be, we see a disunity, a struggle. Just because a person's a Democrat or a Republican, we don't like them. When I was growing up, and I'm sure you all can remember this, there was an emphasis of being a Democrat and Republican at election time. I don't remember the mudslinging that we have today. I don't remember the derogatory terms and things that were being said about each other simply because they were our opponent. I can remember seeing Truman, and I'm trying to remember who the Republican was that was running at the time, and I can't do it, but I remember seeing them hugging each other in order to be able to express their unity of purpose as Americans. And we need to remember one thing. Once the election's over, we're no longer a Democrat or Republican, we're an American. And we need to work together for the good of our country. And I think the same thing applies to a church. To a church. We're not in church to be able to get out of what we can. We're in church so that we might be able to build a better community, a better city, a better state, or whatever it may be. And I have seen families split apart. My kids are just learning from things that I have told them that my dad had a brother that they never met. And there was a big division in our family simply because the correct pronunciation of our name was Faust. And because of the implication of what the name Faust means, my dad's brother insisted that they change it to Faust. Faust or Faust. And because he changed his name, the pronunciation of his last name, the rest of the family would have nothing to do with him. Families are torn apart over insignificant things. And we need to find the unity that can only be found in Jesus Christ and God. By drawing near to God, we draw away from the world. I don't know how many times I have counseled people who have been trying to become who want to become a Christian. And one of the things that I hear that causes the hair on the top of my head to stand almost straight up, well, I've got to change my life before I can become a Christian. Oh, I hear that so often. I do this, it's wrong. And I love the hymn that we sing oftentimes for our hymn of invitation, just as I am, I come. For I might counsel to those people, why try to do it by yourself, which is an impossibility? Come and give your life to Christ, be filled with that Spirit. And let the Spirit give you the strength to overcome the problems that you have in your life. I remember telling that to one young lady down in the Graceland Church. I had baptized her after we talked about this for a long time. And very shortly after that, she got a job down in the Lexington area. And when I was preaching West Corbin, Kentucky. I went to Lexington to call one of our people that was in the hospital. And I accidentally ran into her. She recognized me, I didn't recognize her. And she was telling me how all she was doing in the church as a Christian. The Southland Church in Lexington. We can overcome the world. In the passage of Scripture that comes to my mind is 1 John, the 4th chapter. The 4th verse, and that which says, greater is he that is in us than he that's in the world. And by that, he that's in us, the Spirit of God, we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. By drawing near to God, we are as prodigals returning to God. When I was preaching in God lot for years ago, back in the 60s, it seemed like a long time ago, had a gentleman that came forward. And the very first thing he told me when he came forward and took my hand, he says, I'm an alcoholic and I need help. His brother happened to be one of the workers in the church. Not to mention names. But I can remember taking him in the baptistry after he made his confession that he believed. And I baptized him into Christ. The only person that I remember that as he came up out of the water, he did a jig in the baptistry. And his comment was, oh, I feel so good. And then he turned around, looked at the congregation, which I'm sure he did not see very clearly because of the situation of the baptistry at that time. The old white building that was up in the middle of Stockton Street there. And he told the people, he says, I need your prayers. Because I have an addiction that I want to overcome. It wasn't long after that they called a minister. I don't know what was wrong with me, but they called a minister. And I mentioned this particular gentleman to this preacher. I said, he's going to need all the help you can give him. And the minister says, I could care less. If he wants to overcome the addiction of alcohol, he can do it by himself. We were as prodigals returning home. Returning home. There's forgiveness in God. There's restoration in God. There's an abundant life in God. There's a peace of mind in God. There's a fellowship in God. There is hope in God. And I think as Christians we need all of these. We need all of this strength that we can achieve. By drawing near to God, we experience unity in the body of Christ. I have seen churches that have been run asunder by trivial matters. It quite interesting. Walked in a church one time for an interview for becoming a third preacher, and the first thing I felt was the tension that was in the church. You could see people deliberately avoiding other people just because they didn't want to have to talk to them. When I went back to the meeting that they were having with the leadership of the church, the very first thing I asked them what the problems were within the church, and I knew there were problems, simply because of the way they were acting. Oh, we have no problems. We have no problems. Questions. Is it right for a church to rent property in order to be able to have income for the church? Is it wrong for tobacco farmers to take the tobacco to market on Sunday morning rather than go to church? Every question they asked me, I could see part of the leadership just stiffening up. And I knew it was the problems. So finally, after about the 6th or 7th question, I asked him, I said, you told me there were no problems, but every question you asked is dealing with a problem that you're facing. And I said, you can take my name off the list, I'm not interested. Would you believe they voted anyway with the leadership of the church by the 100% for me, and I refused to even consider it? There's a unity in the body of Christ. We're family. I like what P.C. Rao always did as a leadership of the God Church. Whenever we got up to make the announcements or anything like that, he said, hello, family. That was his comment. Now, I appreciate that. I appreciate it very much. And I think Judy could remember doing that quite often. Unity. I can walk into any church in the United States where I've never been before, and the minute I walk in, of course I'm talking about the Christian Church, Church of Christ, I feel unity with those people there. We find that unity around the Lord's table. We find that unity in our prayers. We find that unity in our love one for another. By drawing near to God, we learn to know God. I love that comment. You know, my wife and I were very close in our lives. She put up with all my idiotic ways. That made her a good woman. And we knew what each other was thinking even before we expressed ourselves. And unity. And my purpose as far as a Christian is concerned is to know Him. To know His will. To know His power. To know what He expects of me. Draw me nearer. Nearer. May our prayer be that as life unfolds, as difficulties arise, that God is in control if we draw ourselves close to Him and allow Him to have His way with us. We can never be too close to God. Never too close to God. Think of the things that I have said. There is a wideness in God's mercy. There is a care and concern through Jesus Christ. And I want that relationship wherein I can abide with Him. We're going to be singing our song of invitation softly and tenderly. If there's any decision to make for Christ, we ask you to come. Whether it be to place your membership, to be baptized, or you need to be baptized. Whatever it may be. We invite you to come as we stand, as we sing.